Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. And today we're going to be looking at the book of Proverbs,
Okay.
and we are going to be focusing on chapters 7, 8, and 9.
All right.
And these chapters, they really dive deep into some pretty practical advice, I think, for navigating life and
Yeah.
and the consequences of the choices that we make. So, you might be thinking like, okay, ancient Proverbs, how is this
Right.
how is this going to be relevant to me today? But I
Yeah.
think you might be surprised.
Well, and I think what's captivating about these chapters in particular is that they weave narratives and symbolism
Right?
to drive home their message. It's not just
Yeah.
a bunch of statements of fact.
Right.
It's really about painting a picture that you, the reader, can step into
Yes.
and experience it firsthand.
Yeah, I love that. And so let's start with Proverbs 7,
Okay.
which throws us right into a scene of temptation.
Uh,
It tells the story of a young man who encounters a woman who, well, let's just say she's skilled
yeah.
in the art of persuasion.
Yeah.
And it's a story that's played out in countless forms throughout history.
Even today,
Yeah, for sure.
well, even the setting itself,
Hmm.
those twilight hours of evening,
Right.
that sets this tone of vulnerability.
Yes.
It's like the author is subtly hinting at the danger lurking beneath the surface.
Right. And the way the woman's described, her boldness, the flattery she uses, the way she emphasizes her husband's absence,
Right.
I mean, it's a playbook we still see today.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, think about the way advertising plays on our desires,
Right.
or how social media can sometimes create this culture of
Mhm.
comparison and temptation.
Absolutely. The tactics might evolve, but the underlying human psychology
Right.
remains a constant.
Yes. And the proverb highlights the young man's naivete, his lack of wisdom,
Right.
which makes him susceptible to these tactics.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's a stark reminder that we're all vulnerable to temptation.
Especially when we lack the wisdom to see through its allure.
Right.
And the proverb doesn't shy away from the consequences, does it?
No, it does not.
I mean, comparing the young man's fate to an ox heading for slaughter
All right.
or a bird trapped in a snare.
Yeah.
I mean, that's some pretty intense imagery.
Those images are meant to jolt us awake. The ox, a symbol of strength,
Right.
powerless against the butcher's knife.
Wow.
And the bird, known for its freedom,
Yeah.
becomes ensnared by its own desires.
Yes.
It's a vivid portrayal of how easily we can fall prey to temptation if we're not careful.
That's a powerful message. But wouldn't you say that the proverb also offers a solution?
Yeah,
A way to avoid becoming the ox or the bird?
precisely. The antidote to temptation, as we'll see in the next chapter, is
Right.
wisdom. Proverbs 7 serves as this cautionary tale,
Right.
urging us to cultivate the wisdom
Mm.
needed to navigate those treacherous waters of temptation.
I'm intrigued. Let's dive into chapter 8 and see how this wisdom is presented. Here, it's not just an abstract concept. It's personified as a woman, almost like a character in the story.
And not just any woman. She's bold
Right.
and assertive.
Yes.
Imagine her standing at the city gates, a place of prominence,
Okay.
a public forum where everyone passes through.
Right.
She's not hiding in some quiet corner. She's making her presence known.
Yeah. It's like she's saying, hey, I'm here. Pay attention.
Right?
I have something important to tell you. But what exactly is her message?
It's a call to embrace prudence,
Okay.
understanding righteousness.
Yeah.
It's about living a life guided by principle,
Mhm.
by a deeper understanding of what's truly valuable.
And the attributes she lists, knowledge, discretion, sound advice, understanding power.
Right.
I mean, these aren't just qualities to admire, they're assets. I mean, who wouldn't want those in their toolkit
Right.
for navigating life?
Exactly. And the rewards she offers aren't just material wealth either.
Right.
It's a richer life.
Yeah.
A life of honor, of enduring wealth, and ultimately of life itself.
So unlike the fleeting pleasures offered by the woman in chapter 7,
Right.
wisdom offers something far more substantial,
Yes.
something that has staying power that can truly sustain us.
It's a powerful contrast. The adulteress promises a stolen moment of pleasure,
Right.
but wisdom offers a life of purpose and fulfillment.
Yes.
And let's not forget the divine origin of wisdom highlighted this chapter.
Right.
She was created by God at the beginning of time,
Okay.
signifying her eternal nature.
So wisdom isn't just some human construct.
Right.
It's interwoven with the very fabric of creation.
It is.
I mean, that makes you think about it differently, doesn't it?
It does.
It elevates it to a whole new level.
Yeah.
But how do we actually bring this wisdom into our lives? How do we cultivate it, especially in a world that often seems to value the quick and easy over the wise and enduring?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's something we'll explore as we delve deeper into these proverbs. But perhaps we can start by recognizing that wisdom isn't just about acquiring knowledge.
Okay.
It's about seeking understanding and applying it to our lives.
Yeah.
It's about making choices that align with our values
Right.
and lead us towards a life of purpose and meaning.
That's a great point, and it leads us perfectly into Proverbs 9,
Right.
where we encounter two contrasting invitations.
Okay.
It's almost like a fork in the road, a choice we're all faced with.
Yeah.
Two women, both hosting banquets,
Yes.
both beckoning us to their tables.
Okay.
One represents wisdom, the other folly.
Mm-hmm.
It's a powerful metaphor for the decisions we make,
Right.
the paths we choose to follow.
Yeah.
And these choices, as we've already seen in chapter 7,
Right.
have consequences.
They do.
So let's take a closer look at these two banquets and see what they offer, what they represent,
Okay.
and what they ultimately lead to.
Picking up on this idea of contrasting invitations, you're confronted with two very different tables in Proverbs 9.
Right.
Each host, wisdom and folly, has prepared a feast.
Okay.
But as we dig a little deeper, it becomes clear that appearances can be deceiving.
It's fascinating how the proverb describes folly's spread, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Stolen water is sweet, and bread eaten in secret is pleasant.
Right.
There's this almost irresistible allure to things that are forbidden, a sense of excitement in breaking the rules.
That's the deceptive nature of folly.
Right.
It disguises itself as pleasure,
Yeah.
offering instant gratification without any consideration for the consequences.
Right.
It preys on our desire for immediate satisfaction,
Yeah.
our impatience with delayed gratification.
And wouldn't you say that this is even more relevant in today's world?
Oh, absolutely.
We're constantly bombarded with messages that tell us to seize the moment,
Right.
to indulge our every whim.
Yeah.
It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that happiness comes from instant gratification.
Absolutely. Think about the world of social media,
Oh, yeah.
where carefully curated images often present a distorted view of reality.
Right.
It's easy to get caught up in comparing ourselves to others,
Mm-hmm.
leading to feelings of inadequacy and a constant striving for more.
It's like we're constantly chasing after those stolen waters without realizing the danger they pose.
And the proverb makes it clear that there is a price to pay.
Right.
It states that those who choose folly do not know that the dead are there, that her guests are in the depths of Sheol.
Wow.
It's a stark reminder that our choices can have consequences that extend far beyond the immediate moment.
There's a real sense of urgency in that warning, isn't there?
Yes.
It's like the author is saying, wake up, pay attention.
Right.
The path of folly leads to destruction.
Exactly. It's a call to consider the long-term implications of our choices,
Okay.
to look beyond the surface allure of instant gratification and see the potential pitfalls that lie ahead.
Right.
But thankfully, the proverb doesn't leave us stranded at this crossroads.
Okay.
It also offers us a path to wisdom.
Okay, let's shift our focus to wisdom's banquet.
Okay.
What kind of feast does she offer?
Her table is set with meat from her kill and wine mixed with spices. It's a richer, more nourishing feast, symbolizing the lasting satisfaction that comes from a life well lived.
Okay.
It's not about denying pleasure or living a life devoid of joy.
Right.
It's about choosing pleasures that align with our values and contribute to our overall well-being.
So it's not a feast of deprivation, but rather one of discernment.
Exactly.
It's about recognizing that true happiness comes from making choices that nourish our mind, body, and spirit.
Precisely, wisdom's feast is an invitation to a life of purpose and meaning. It's about cultivating virtue, pursuing knowledge, and using our gifts to make a positive impact on the world.
I love how the proverb describes wisdom as having hewn out her 7 pillars.
Right.
It creates this image of a solid foundation, a life built on principles that can withstand the storms of life.
That image is so powerful.
Yeah.
It speaks to the importance of establishing a strong moral compass, a set of values that guide our decisions and shape our character.
And it makes me think about the practical implications of this proverb.
Yeah.
How can we apply these principles to our everyday lives? Right.
How can we make choices that lead us toward wisdom's table rather than folly's?
Perhaps it starts with recognizing that wisdom is a journey, not a destination.
Okay.
It's a process of continual learning, growth, and refinement. It's about being open to new perspectives, seeking guidance from mentors and those who have walked the path before us,
Right.
and being willing to course correct when we inevitably stray off course.
That's a great point. It takes humility to admit that we don't have all the answers. and that we need guidance and support along the way. It's not about striving for perfection, but rather about striving to become the best versions of ourselves.
Exactly. And I think it's also important to remember that wisdom isn't just about acquiring knowledge. It's about applying that knowledge to our lives.
Okay.
It's about making wise choices even when they're difficult or require sacrifice.
So it's not enough to just read Proverbs or listen to this deep dive.
Right.
We have to take action. We have to put these principles into practice in our daily lives.
Yeah.
I completely agree. And as we move into the final chapter of this deep dive,
Right.
I think it's important to consider how we can cultivate a posture of seeking wisdom,
Okay.
a desire to align our lives with what is truly good and right.
It strikes me that this whole idea of choosing between wisdom's banquet and follies isn't just a one-time decision. It's a series of choices we make every single day.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so easy to get caught up in the immediacy of our daily lives,
Right.
to make decisions based on convenience or what feels good in the moment.
Right.
But Proverbs challenges us to take a step back and consider the bigger picture, the long-term consequences of our actions.
So how do we develop that kind of foresight, that ability to see beyond the immediate
Yeah.
and make choices that align with our values and lead us toward a life of wisdom?
Well, Proverbs 8, I think, offers a clue. Remember how wisdom describes herself as being beside him as a master workman, taking delight in God's creation. It suggests that wisdom isn't just about acquiring knowledge.
Right.
It's about actively participating in life,
Okay.
engaging with the world around us, and using our knowledge and understanding to make a positive impact.
It's like wisdom isn't something we just passively absorb.
Right.
It's something we actively cultivate
Yeah,
through our experiences, our interactions, and our choices.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's about being present in each moment,
Okay.
observing the world around us,
Right.
learning from our mistakes, and seeking guidance from those who have walked the path before us.
Yes.
It's a continual process of growth and refinement.
So it's not about reaching some sort of pinnacle of wisdom and then coasting from there.
Right.
It's about embracing the journey, the ups and downs,
Yeah.
the challenges and triumphs that shape us into the people we're meant to be.
I think that's a great way to put it. And that journey requires humility, a willingness to admit when we're wrong,
Right.
and a commitment to learning from our mistakes. It's not about being perfect, but rather about striving to become the best versions of ourselves.
That makes me think about how Proverbs emphasizes the importance of seeking counsel, of learning from the wisdom of others.
Yes.
We don't have to figure this all out on our own.
That's such a crucial point.
Yeah.
We live in a culture that often values independence and self-reliance.
Right.
But wisdom recognizes the value of interdependence.
Yes.
Of seeking guidance from those who have walked the path before us.
My mentors, teachers, friends, family members.
Yeah.
I mean, they can all offer valuable insights and perspectives that can help us navigate life's complexities.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's not just about receiving wisdom from others.
Right.
It's also about sharing our own experiences and insights
Right.
to help others along their journey.
Yes.
I mean, we can all be sources of wisdom for one another.
As we wrap up our deep dive into these profound chapters from Proverbs, I'm left with a sense of both challenge and encouragement. It's a challenge to live intentionally, to make choices that align with our values,
Right.
and to cultivate wisdom in our daily lives.
I agree.
But it's also an encouragement to know that wisdom is available to all of us.
It is.
It's not some elusive quality reserved for a select few.
Yeah.
It's a gift from God, accessible to anyone who seeks it with a sincere heart.
That's right.
So let's continue to explore the wisdom found in Proverbs and beyond, seeking guidance, learning from our experiences, and making choices that lead us toward a life of purpose, meaning, and true fulfillment.
And may we all find ourselves feasting at wisdom's table, savoring the richness and fullness of a life well lived.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the book of Proverbs.
Yes, thank you.
We hope you've gleaned some valuable insights that will inspire you on your own journey toward wisdom. Until next time, keep seeking, keep exploring, and keep diving deep.